In 3, 2, 1, go!
First 20 seconds of the rebuilt match, all pre-programmed autonomous. 5402 Reckless Robotics heading out to the neutral side of the field, trying to push some of that fuel away around and try to collect some. At 292 Panther Tech doing the same. 50-1 team thrust, able to successfully grab some of those, make their way over to the outpost where their human player is scored, and then hopefully go for that climb. Very iconic of 50-1 team thrust. Very maximizing points during that time. Blue Alliance able to do the same for a couple of those. Red Alliance, though, coming out of the autonomous, the score is 73 to Blue Alliance's 20. Quite an advantage going into the tally-operated period. Briefly here, 10 seconds is the transition period. Both hubs temporarily active before the Blue Alliance will get their first solo hub for the next 25 seconds. We're in that tele-operated phase. Human players have picked up their controllers and driving the robots that their team have built. The name of the game this year, picking up those fuel, those yellow spheres, and trying to score them into the hub. But the hub has to be active to get points for your alliance. The hub are those big boxy things with those black nets on top. Teams trying to score into those wallets lit up as their alliance colors. Blue Alliance able to score a couple of points during their 25 seconds, going over to the Red Alliance now. Getting a volley of fuel from 1018, the Pike Robo Devils, 1501 Team Thrust, and 5402 Reckless Robotics. If a piece of fuel exits the field of play, a team member will, a field resetter will pick up that fuel and return it to approximately where it came out. 292 Panther Tech applying a little bit of that bumper-on-bumper pressure, but now that their hub is active, they'll go back to scoring themselves. Red Alliance, while their hub is inactive, playing a little bit of Hungry Hippo, trying to pick up as much fuel as possible from the center part of the neutral zone and bring that back over to their alliance. Some of these teams applying a shuttling mechanism, or they'll just straight up throw it across the field, but lots of these filling up their hoffers and their coffers to get ready for that scoring opportunity. Blue Alliance coming out of their active hub with a score of 53. Red Alliance, though, 120 points ahead of them and getting an opportunity to score now themselves. Red Alliance well surpassing that ranking point threshold required for Energized. Blue Alliance about halfway there. About 1 ranking point available, but 3 available if you win the match. Red Alliance continuing to score, 7 seconds remaining in their solo active hub time period. Before we enter the endgame period, which we'll hear with that steam whistle. Last 30 seconds, endgame period. Both those hubs now active for the remainder of the match. Some of these teams will consider climbing 10, 20, 30 points available. The higher they climb, the more points they'll find. Potentially 1501, the team to watch there to see if they get elevated off the ground at the end of the match. 15 seconds, Red Alliance continuing to up themselves against the Red Alliance, trying to get that increased ranking points average as possible. Final 6 seconds here in qualification match 12. We'll count them out here in 3, 2, 1, and that's the end of qualification match 12. Stick tight to see how those scores total up. Red Alliance taking that match with 296. The Blue Alliance is 79. Of course, the differentiator there, both in fuel, but also themed thrust ability to climb in both the autonomous and endgame period. Taking home 4 ranking points, about the average we've seen for most qualification matches so far at this event. Stick tight for qualification match 13, the last one before lunch.